Tomorrow in class, y'all have a work day. I do ask that you are very good for this stuff. I'm pretty lenient and let y'all get away with quite a bit as far as being loud. So try to keep the noise, calm tomorrow so that I get stressed out, right, Michael? Okay. All of you, be on your best behavior tomorrow. Be sweet to the stuff. You'll get all day to work, so use it wisely. It's time to get started. I will be here tomorrow afternoon. No, you're gonna have homework that you're getting today, and you're just gonna work on it. You have the homework from Friday,
which we will not have to do homework, right?
Because I won't be here. Not explain it. You have a work day tomorrow. Use it. Be good and use it. You would have had it anyway, but it probably would have been today. So we're kind of switching work days for today. Probably works out better. Yeah, but it is an extension. It's still good. It's still with identity. So, I think this is actually on some of the homework from Friday. This is my question. Okay. Simplify using three identities. Each expression simplifies to a constant single function or a power of a single function. So I'm going to look at the identities and see if there's anything I can simplify. A teacher I worked with when I taught in Owasso, Oklahoma, always said, when in doubt, sign and cosine it out. And you don't know what else to do, make everything into sines and cosines. So we're going to try that. What is secant? Sine is just sine. And what is cotangent? Okay? Everyone agree?
Fair.
Right?
Right. That is straight fire.
Fire. I love how they were all like, wow. You were thinking, you just didn't say.
No, I already saw it. Yeah, right.
And what about next? This is new people not to do with us.
And also you need to affect some racist remarks.
Know that I'm 40.
Well, you know facts are racist.
Hey, stop.
You're trying to become a senator one day.
Okay, stop, really. 1 over tangent squared. I'm going to leave that one for just a minute. I'm not sure what I want to do with that yet. I'm going to first see what cotangent times tangent is. What is cotangent?
One.
One.
Oh.
Any ideas on what I should change 1 over tangent squared to?
Tangent squared. Tangent squared.
Tangent squared over. No. Square root of.
Okay. Common denominator is like leave it as 1 over tangent squared. The most efficient answer would be cotangent squared. But you will get there the same way either way. Why would I change it to cotangent squared? Because cotangent squared plus 1 is secant. Right?
How did you leave it?
How did I know that?
Cotangent squared plus 1. It's
You have to memorize those. Everybody saying you need to memorize them? Why do you think you need to memorize them? Are you to do this problem? Did you see how much thinking ahead I did? I'm like, oh, if I change this, it's gonna be this. If you don't have them memorized, you can't think ahead. So that's why very, very quickly I'm gonna make you have them memorized. By Wednesday, all of the identities that you learned on Friday need to be memorized. Write that down. and make sure you have those memorized. We're going to have a matching quiz on Wednesday. So we'll have a quiz on Wednesday over the identities, so it'll be a quick matching quiz. Make sure you have those. Tangent. So this is one over tangent.
Oh, I got it. Okay, got it.
Now, there was a suggestion to get a common denominator. Will you get to the same line? Yes. It ends up getting you the exact same thing. So there is no right or wrong way to work it. And you'll see that as we keep going. Okay, perform the indicated operation and simplify. No, just an actual quiz. Wednesday is not a mastery quiz. It's a real quiz. You just have to have them memorized, take the quiz done, matching.
These are in a random order.
They're in a random order. I mean, what do you mean?
Like,
yeah, should be any of those. So you don't need to know them in any format. Today will help. You'll get to practice all day.
Does it have the name or?
No. It's on the left. It's got a bunch of things. Right? It's got a bunch of other things. You got to match it with. Okay. Perform the operation. This is addition. So to do addition, I'm going to need to get a common denominator. You can change it in sine and cosine first, or you can just leave it how it is. You're always going to have some options on these with trig identities because there's a lot of different things. I'm just going to leave it how it is on this one, but it would not be wrong to go sine and cosine and then get a common denominator. What is the common denominator? Cotangent. So I'm going to multiply this one by cotangent on top and cotangent on bottom, which gives me cotangent squared plus 1 over cotangent. See how it works? So what? What's cotangent squared plus 1? Cosecant squared. Now, on this particular problem, it just said perform the indicated operation. So at some level, we could stop at any point. I am going to go ahead and see if this simplifies any more by changing everything into sine and cosine. What is cosecant squared in terms of sine and cosine? What is cotangent in terms of sine and cosine? So I can flip and multiply. Okay. So I get 1 over sine squared times sine of theta over cosine of theta.
Well, it's not.
You could, but when in doubt, sine and cosine it out. I'll just say that about it later. So this 1 of the sine values cancel, so I get 1 over sine of theta times 1 over cosine of theta. And I could even write that as cosecant of theta times secant of theta. Now, I know a lot of you are asking, how did you know to go that far? I don't. On this particular problem, I would have to accept any of these answers along. Later today, you're going to see why I'm practicing this oversimplification, but I would have had to accept lots of different answers. Everyone understand what I mean by that? There is not necessarily one that is.
Wait,
right.
What did you do when you got 1 over sine squared times?
This sine squared cancels with that sine of x.
So it's just.
1 sine.
Keep looking at me.
Oh, you're so sweet to each other. Okay, let's look at the next. Again, it says perform the indicated operation, so I need a common denominator. But on this one, one, getting a common denominator might not be as easy as just simplifying to begin with. Now, I could get a common denominator, but it looks like this might simplify a lot by dividing, because I've got cosine divided by secant. Seems like something might kind of simplify it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to rewrite that as cosine of x over 1 over cosine of x. Plus sine of x over 1 over sine of x. If you like puzzles, today will be a fun day.
Oh, I thought you said pictures of Jesus. Nice.
I like those.
Okay. What is cosine divided by 1 divided by cosine? How do you do that? Flip it and multiply, right? So what would you get? Cosine squared? How does it equal 1? Where'd that come from? But you will find it, right?
Or maybe Tuesday night. Or maybe Sunday night would be my sleep.
As long as it's by Wednesday, 4th hour.
Right.
That's all that matters.
I like something like that.
Okay, very common mistake on this one is 1 plus tangent, all in parentheses squared, the same as 1 squared plus tangent squared.
No.
No. How do you do 1 plus tangent?
You gotta choose two parentheses, then FOIL.
Oh.
That works very well.
Your third word.
Y'all are grown ups now, you can handle that.
Oh, yes. Oh my God.
Oil. Yes, you can take oil.
First.
I'm gonna go home and get excited.
Remember, guys, they're recording this.
And it's not recording.
There it is.
Yeah, no, that's what.
You can take oil.
Yeah.
You're old enough math students now that you understand that it only works for two binomials, and if you were to have to do a trinomial and a binomial, you would have to distribute.
Yeah, we know.
Y'all are-
I just know it like you should actually, yeah.
Is this like a replacement word? So.
That's it.
Don't just look at you weird and be like,
Coach, what did you say? I'm hurt. My pain medication.
what the fuck?
Alright. What did I just do? First, outer, and or I distributed, or whatever you want to call it. I foiled it.
Spoiled it.
I did do the inner and outer term and added them in one step for y'all to do that. That was good idea. Good? 2 tangent to the x minus 2 tangent to the x.
That's 0.
That's 0. So I just get 1 plus tangent squared of x, which is
Secant squared.
okay, did that help with last night's homework? No? Okay. From here to here. If you will, get your trick out really quick. And you'll want to watch the video tonight. cosine squared of x plus 1 times cosine squared of x.
Just like math tricks.
Oh, stop. You're so cool.
Everyone's
so funny.
Hey, these can get hard.
Hey, it's all
Okay, any questions?
Wait.
Okay, so we can get common denominators, we can factor, we can use trig identities, we can do a lot of different things. So what we're about to do is some trig identity proofs, which is a little bit tricky. So
this doesn't been true.
okay,
Oh, true.
it's very trig identity proofs. Oh, sorry. There's just everyone, like all the teachers, if you ask them, they love them. Okay, so proving a trig identity. So we have an expression on two sides of an equal sign, and I want to prove that they are equal. This is not like a geometry proof where we have to chase theorems everywhere. We just have to do some algebra. So I want to take either the left-hand side or the right-hand side and show that it's equal to the other side. Your brain is trained to simplify, right? Your whole life you've been simplifying. So it will always be easier to take a more complex side and try to show that it equals the other side, because you're good at simplifying. The tricky part comes in when they're both kind of complicated, and we'll look at something like that. So this is what we're going to call verifying or proving trig identity. So this is evidently a true statement, and I want to prove that it is. So I'm going to take the left-hand side because it looks more complicated, and I'm going to try to simplify it the best I can. I'm going to look for trig identities. I'm going to look to see if I can factor. I'm going to look for anything I can to see if I can make it look like the right-hand side. To me, these are easier than these problems. Because you remember over here I said I don't know where to stop, right? On this problem, I know exactly where to stop. I need to make the left-hand side be cosecant squared. And when I get there, I know that I'm done. And that's a trig proof. So that's what. No theorem chasing, although we could state each theorem as we go, but we're not going to. Okay, anything that you see, and I'm going to let you lead this because my brain can skip ahead because I have all the identities memorized, and so I'm going to let you kind of lead and see where you go with it. Sometimes it will get messy because I'm going to let you lead it. Sometimes we might have to erase and start over. Okay. But does anyone see anything that I can do?
I see.
Okay, the C inside the parentheses is secant squared.
Secant squared.
I memorized that.
Good job, Michael.
Good enough.
And if I were putting myself back in geometry for a moment, I would say Pythagorean identity. I don't have to do that. But if I were putting myself back in geometry, that's how you put it. So we don't have to do that. We expect that the reader of this proof is a math person and they know what we did. So, okay.
Good.
Okay, now what?
Then you put them over the fraction.
Okay, when in doubt, use sine cosine, right?
Right.
So, cosine squared of theta over sine squared of theta times secant is
1 over cosine squared.
Then you
Cross it. Just 1 over sine. Which is cosecant. The other
which is cosecant squared, which is
This is. Wow. And we didn't have to erase.
Any questions?
So what would I answer?
But he-
This work is the answer.
Okay, so the first.
Speaking of answers, every year I'll have someone try this. If the question says verified and trick identity, does it do you any good to put the answer down with no word?
Credit.
Yes, sir. It's up there. No, it's nothing. No points for that. Don't do it.
I'm gonna scribble it to the random word.
This is when you have, because the answer is the work. It's not the answer. We knew that. The answer is the work. Okay.
Which one's the complicated side?
Which kid?
So I just said that right.
Yes.
I'll just follow it really.
It's oh. That should felt good.
So I say we put the parentheses
If you
there
change the S,
and distribute,
No, you need a fact.
and then you
that's so
get
dumb.
1 plus
In your future, you may have to take multivariable
1
calculus.
minus cosine squared.
Okay. I hear some debates on which side's easier. I agree. I don't know. I mean, it's tough to tell, right? They both.
Parentheses.
So
Parentheses.
When it
pick one, right?
Parentheses.
The left.
So pick whichever one you want. So I don't know.
Right.
Right. Who votes right?
Raise your hand for right.
Guys, raise your hand. I'm serious.
Raise your hand for left.
Oh, we won.
I think right won.
Good.
But does it matter? No.
Yeah.
Both will work eventually. One may be faster, but both will work.
Ours is better.
Okay, so if you pick the right, why did you pick the right?
Because
Okay, if we can FOIL it out, right? We can multiply it out and distribute. So, first, 1 times 1 is 1. Inner, I get cosine of s, and outer, I get negative cosine. So,
So,
it's gonna have to
don't
be
even
the
worry
left.
about it.
It cancels.
Don't
You used to
be-
get plus cosine squared.
That's actually minus cosine squared.
It is minus.
Why?
Because
Positive cosine of s times negative cosine.
Oh, good.
Oh, she used an identity, but she didn't use it in its normal format. The normal format is sine squared plus cosine squared 1. You remember on Friday we told you you need to understand any arrangement of those? So she took cosine squared plus sine squared and rearranged it by subtracting cosine. Well, 1 minus cosine squared would then equal sine squared.
Dang.
How many of you would be stuck at this point?
Not me.
Now, I told you the rule is that we pick one side and stick with it to the other side. But I'm not going to know if you erase later, right? So we're going to time out. So I'm stuck. Because that's pretty simplified and I don't know where to go from there, right? So I'm going to go look at the other side. Now, on your final answer, you cannot have two sides of work. So I'll show you how we're going to kind of work through that. You know, it's like we're looking at the box on the puzzle, but we're going to put it back up in a minute. So we're kind of trying to figure out what's going on, how sine squared could equal that.
so we should have started.
I don't know.
No.
Yes.
I can't have two sides.
In a proof, you have to take one thing and show that it equals another thing. So it's just like in geometry, we take something and manipulate it. So we have to stick with one side. But we can work the other side once we yeah.
So we have to erase them.
Well, I'll show you what.
So for tangent, you can make it sine squared over x over the cosine squared, and then for secant you put that over 1, and then sine squared x, and then cosine.
And then what?
And then you multiply and flip it, and that marks out the cosine squared, and then you get sine squared.
And they
Right.
equal each other. Wait.
And then that equals
Yeah.
sine. Now, am I finished?
No, you have to
Well,
erase.
I have to pick one of the two sides and finish working. But the cool thing is I get to kind of steal my work. If I'm going with that one, this is going to be my next step. And then this is going to be my final step. Right?
No, we can do it.
No.
I'm going to write it down. If I pick this side, then I'm going to go to this step and then this step and back up to there. So you get to kind of steal your work either way. I'm going to go with the red side. I think it's a little shorter because that's a lot to write back over there. You see what I mean by that? So you can pick either side. It really doesn't matter. To me, the difficulty was about the same on these two sides. So on this side, I'm going to cancel the cosine squares out and say, well, this equals sine squared. And then I'm going to say sine squared equals 1 minus cosine squared of x. How many of you would never come up with that on your own? Right? I mean, that's tricky, but you see how I'm coming up with it? To go, oh, okay, I can steal my work. Does everyone see that? And then 1 minus cosine squared of s factors to be
What?
and that's the other side, right? You see the puzzle quality of this?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go back and go, okay, that's not part of my work. So let me know which side is your answer. You can't leave it there and just mark it out. You don't have to erase it. Only one side can be erased. Okay? Got it?
What?
What?
Alright.
Alright.
Let's try this.
Alright, so the answers.
Yeah. Yes.
Same time it always does.
So it's clean up. How many of you kind of like these a little bit? Kind of like puzzles. Yeah.
Say it. What were you gonna say?
This one's a tough one.
Whoever gets it first gets the ones.
I want
I feel like. Alright, I'm gonna start.
So this is your favorite class number 6.
I'm gonna start on the left. You're dumb. You're
Okay, which side do you think?
Very
Right.
I think for the right side, actually. I said
Yeah, I think the right side.
Alright, got it.
Oh.
yeah.
How many of you think probably we're going to end up working a little bit of both for a
Yeah,
minute?
me too.
Probably. I would probably pick the left because I see common denominators. Easy to do.
Oh, yeah, that's the
But, you know, you can pick either one you want. Remember, when in doubt, that's right.
Yeah, not that.
Is it okay if you do the wrong thing first?
Yes.
Yes, you're gonna mess up. It's like a puzzle. You gotta try a few pieces here and there.
Mess up, just get back up.
You're just gonna try again.
Oh.
You will get better. At first, you will really fumble through, and you'll just have to try a bunch of things. Later, you'll get to where your brain thinks a little bit more like mine, and you're going, okay, well, if I do this, this is gonna happen. And so you get to where you can think that a little more. But I do caution you. Those of you who will get the most frustrated with this will be those of you who feel like you need to see the answer before you start trying things. Just start trying things. Just, you know. Correct.
I got it.
get cosine of theta minus 1 over sine of theta. I already got a common denominator on top, right?
Do it,
Yep.
Fox.
Divided by cosine theta. Do y'all see why we practice factoring and common denominators right before we did this?
That's just like
I don't know. What would we do to find that out?
no.
Because it, yeah.
Multiply it by the reciprocal?
Wait, how did you do? How do we get to negative? Well, then we use close. Wait.
I feel like I'm doing this wrong.
Maybe we are. We will find out.
Why'd you? We told you the right side.
I was like, control.
We quit pointing fingers.
What?
So far, so good?
So it's oh, out, and then you got
And then what do you have to
you got the camera here. You got this.
Wait, I'm not. Oh, yeah.
This is where, if you're new at this is where you go, now what, right? Because this is pretty simplified. We got it as simplified as we could on the left, and then we kind of get stuck. So what do we do?
Go to the other side.
Go to the other side.
Right.
So if we'd started on the right, we probably would have ended up having to go to the left.
Cupcake.
Now, with that in mind, with the left-hand side in mind, what do you see on the right that we could do to maybe get there?
Put the
Back to
things
the
in
top.
parentheses.
Back to good. How did you
Cosine.
Cosine minus 1. Cosine plus. Cosine
You
minus.
can use it if you want. The way it's fixed, it would be 1 minus
Cosine
cosine of theta,
minus
1
1
minus cosine
squared.
of theta. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that's
How do you get the two? Oh yeah.
Inner and outer. If you need to side note and do this. 1 minus 2x plus x squared, right? Side note and do that if you need to. Factors of 1, right, add to get you 2, 1 and 1. And if you want to rearrange it, you can. It works. In fact, would it be a good idea to rearrange it?
Yeah.
Looking at that side over there. Probably. So it's up to you. You got options.
And we got all sorts of those.
What?
Oh,
Charlie, where are you?
I'm over here. Your
voice
voice is
so good. Please. Quick, time out. Factor those x's, you would get 1 minus x and 1 minus x. Except the x is cosine. Or if you wanted to rewrite it with the x squared in front. That makes sense. Okay, good. Negative sine squared. Could I rewrite that with a cosine?
yes.
What do you think I would pick? And there's actually 2 options. I will pick both.
1.
Cosine squared minus 1.
What?
Now, she rearranged it and subtracted the sine over and subtracted the 1 over. You will probably get to where you have the 1 minus cosine squared memorized.
Miss King,
Yes.
Natalie Berklow has been checked out.
Just watch the end of this video tonight. We'll get some work on there.
Oh.
Okay. I probably, for later purposes, I think you probably use the 1 minus sine squared
subtract
1 minus cosine squared equals sine squared, not the theta sine.
Oh.
Man. You got
And that's where Natalie did go ahead and she actually subtracted the sign over there and the 1 over here and went ahead and made it -1 plus cosine squared, which you could do either way. To me, that's a little bit more to think about, but it works great. Do what?
What?
Was it not Natalie that said that?
Yeah, it's just.
you guys talking smack about that.
You just said it.
Okay. Now, someone said, hey, we can cancel stuff out. Not yet, right? Why not yet? We have to factor it first, but does 1 minus cosine squared factor?
Is that not still
Yeah,
negative?
it's the same.
What?
That's -1?
No.
The whole thing is -1?
You just getting ahead of yourself.
No, we need a factor.
Because if you put them... Oh, wait, no, there's 1.
Gosh.
I thought square was outside.
Even if it were. But,
The negative.
Oh, yeah, I guess the negative.
Negative on the outside.
and so far, one of those cancels. We're getting really close, aren't we?
It's
Getting close. Right now I have cosine -1 over cosine theta +1. There's no negative on the bottom and the top's rearranged. Could I move the negative to the top and fix that problem?
Yeah, you could.
So if I move that negative to the top, I get -1 plus cosine of theta over 1 plus cosine of theta. And I think I'm there. Now, how do I make this look like a true proof? Because right now it just looks like I figured it out, but
you move the ones to the other side.
move either one, right?
Yeah.
Now, you can't do this on your work because you won't have a smart board. But literally, you're going to take this word and move it over here.
Wait, but I thought you couldn't. I thought you had to stick with one side.
That's what you're doing.
We're going to.
That's what you're doing. So, right, you have all the work. So, and then X out the other stuff, and you got the answer.
Yeah.
So, I need to kind of work back up this ladder here. So, I'm going to work my way back up. I can steal the work from either side. Now, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it, but we've already done the work. Once you get here, you are done. You just need to rewrite. Okay, does that make sense? So, now, if it were me, I'm going to pick whichever side I have to write less on to finish. Yeah, it looks like the blue is less writing. So I'm going to move the blue to the left. So, I'm going to rewrite. -1 plus cosine of theta over 1 plus cosine of theta. I'm going to move up a step. I'm going to move that negative, I'm going to factor out a -1, and I'm going to put it on the bottom, and I'm going to multiply by 1 minus cosine of theta on top and bottom. Would you have ever thought to do all of that? So I'm going from this step back up to this step. So I'm going to move this -1 to the bottom. Factor out a -1 on top, put it on the bottom. And I'm going to multiply by 1 minus cosine on top and bottom. I would have never thought to do that. Actually, eventually you will, but you would have never thought to do that. But I'm just stealing my work. Everyone see that? So I am going to write this step down here. Like really, I'm going to write that down here. You see that now?
Copy and paste.
Oh,
Yeah. Copy and paste. Okay, so there's a -1 that I'm taking out of the top and I'm putting it on the bottom. data. I have to end up with it. So I just stole that step and wrote it down. Okay, good. I need to FOIL out the top and the bottom, pretty much.
Yes, GG.
Which gives me cosine squared of theta minus 2 cosine theta plus 1
C.
over negative 1. And you might rearrange that, but you don't have to. The FOIL will work out either way if you rearrange it or not. You agree I'm going to end up with 1 minus cosine squared? Or cosine, actually cosine squared minus 1.
Wait, will you scroll back up for a second? No, like, down.
Go down. Okay, so
No, I go back down. Yeah, I just want to see that.
I actually did something wrong with that.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry. I should have scrolled up. This was 1 minus.
I hate those teachers that get back and you know when they know they're wrong.
Please do. You don't want me to keep writing wrong. That's better.
You just tell her you're wrong.
Okay. Any questions so far? And then I'm going to go one more step. What's 1 minus cosine squared?
Okay, science. Cosine.